Mental Toughness, prepared for and presented at the 2017 Square One Entrepreneurship Training Program. Square One is a program of the Center for Emerging Technologies. CET is an affiliate of the Cortex Innovation Community. Square One is funded in part by the Missouri Technology Corporation.
I'm a native of St. Louis. I don't know, I like this story because you got to have a little bit of mental toughness to kind of make it through being the middle child of 5 children born to my mom by the age of 22. Right? We moved 22 times by the age of 19 here in St. Louis, lived in a lot of different areas, got to see a lot of St. Louis here, experienced a whole lot of loss, a lot of interesting things, living in urban and the ghetto, the hood, all those different things. And I actually got my water, if you will, a little poisoned by the environment or by my atmosphere. Drugs, gangs, all that stuff, got to participate in that a little bit. And there was a turning point that happened when I was 16 years old. When I was 16 years old, I met a man. He was clean shaved. I'm not clean shaved or even tapered that good because there's no shave, no women. And I forgot to get a haircut at the end of October. So, but at any rate, I met a gentleman. I was at the Cedars at a Men of Tomorrow Today program. And I was sitting next to a gentleman who was the CEO of a company, and he was making $2 million a year. He was from my neighborhood. He looked good. He smelled good. He was in a suit. He was clean shaved, and he spoke really well. And he was making $2 million, and he's from my neighborhood. And so all of a sudden, I said, I can be that guy one day. I said, I can be that guy one day. I can be successful. I can change who I am. I can be different. All I have to do is figure out how that looks. I knew nothing about how to get to that place. So long story short, we'll just say, was able to do some good stuff, working at a job. I worked my way up to being a kitchen manager by the age of 17 years old. And all I did was the stuff I learned in the streets, I applied it at work. I worked real hard. I knew how to bag stuff up. And so being in the kitchen, I had to bag stuff up, right? And I had to weigh it, right? I had to weigh things, okay? Right? So I had to weigh things, I had to bag the stuff up. And guess what? I had to prepare to sell it, right? And so I really was good in the kitchen. And then the other thing I had to do was get really good at cleaning up behind myself. And so I used those skills. I used those skills when I worked at this restaurant. And that propelled me to becoming a kitchen manager at 17 years old, having people 40 years old and even older sometimes working for me. And guess what I did with those people? I knew they knew more than me. And so I didn't know that I was doing this at this point, but I let them lead what they were good at. Ultimately, I was a kitchen manager, so I looked good because I let them be good at what they were good at. And so at any rate, ends up in the Army, spent some time in the Army, was able to create a great deal of success in the Army. After the Army, I went into car sales, created some great success. I was a general sales manager for a luxury and exotic car dealership in the DC area. Little old guy like me, from where I'm from, selling Lamborghinis and Rolls Royce and Ghosts and Phantoms and all that good stuff. And then in the process of that, I was able to become an entrepreneur in 2009. In 2009, somebody came up to me because I quit my job at the dealership. Someone walked up to me and said, hey, look, I know you know how to make money. I watched you take this dealership from 2 locations to 5 locations. So I know, and guys, listen, all I did was apply what I learned growing up, right? What I learned growing up is if you wanted to make the most money, you came early before everybody else, and you stayed later than everybody else, right? And so I applied those same principles. As a car salesman, I came earlier than everybody else, and I stayed later. And the first thing I did when I got in was call a customer. Everybody else went to the water cooler. And so because I created that regimen for myself, I was able to create a great deal of success, which led me to having somebody come up to me and say, hey, look, I know you understand how to make money and how to grow a business. Will you come and sit down? I just got a contract, and I want to see if we could, if you can help me find the money. And we were able to do it. We were able to take a company that had been in business for 20 years. We was able to actually sit down with them. I actually went and worked in their company, and as a foreman, it was a moving company. They had done somewhere around $490,000 in revenue. That's where they had capped out annually. Well, that year we did over $900 and about $60,000 in revenue. that year that I was with him. And so you can clap. The only reason why I'm telling you to clap is because then you're just sitting there looking at me. And I'm looking at all the faces like, so, what you gonna help me do? What you gonna help me with? My business just started. I ain't got no money, so you gonna help me double my nothing? Right, and so, and it didn't happen because I knew anything. I knew one thing, is that you start early and you finish late, right? And then all the in between is you applying yourself. And the other thing that I really learned, and I'll talk about this a little later, is I figured out what I do. Because people said this to me, they said, oh, you're a jack of all trades, and then master of none. I'm like, I think I just decided not to be one thing. This is what I've mastered. I've mastered the art of building people. And so I build people. Now I do that through inspirational speaking. I do it through being director of business development at Ferguson 1000, and we'll talk a little bit about that. I do that in being a business consultant. I do it and just in a few different verticals. But what I've mastered is building people. And so I won't get lost in the details. So at any rate, now I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since 2009. I've had some great years. I've had some horrible years. I had a horrible year. One of my worst years, I made 4 figures on books. Wow. One of my worst years. But that was one of my best years. It was my worst year. I made less money. That was the least money I'd made in a year since I was like 13 years old. But I made the most money that I'll ever make in my life that year, because I learned some serious lessons that year. I learned that I need some real fine tuning to do. I needed some of these keys that I'm gonna give you. I call these the master keys to mental toughness. So we're gonna talk about a little bit of mental toughness today, and hopefully help somebody. At some point in time, this will be a point of reference for you as you're going through your business at some point in time. And hopefully I say something tonight that you can benefit from. But I'm gonna tell you this. If you're not open, right, a closed mind is probably one of the worst things you can have in your possession. It will cost you a lot of money. It will keep you from experiencing a lot of things. Thinking that you know something that you don't know will cost you a lot of money. Failing to value people, every human interaction, failing to value every single human interaction will cost you a lot of money. Will cost you relationships because you think you know something about somebody and you'll treat them wrong, right? And it'll cost you because you're drinking poison and expecting somebody else to get sick, right? And so I don't know why I said that, but maybe that's gonna help somebody. Mental toughness by that guy. I already told you who he is. That's just a picture. That's a lot of words. We don't even want to get into all that. Really, all it's just really your psychology, your approach to life. An older gentleman told me one day, and if you try to read that, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt if you try to read it from too far back. But a gentleman told me one day, he said, there's 2 things that you got to have in your possession if you're really going to make it through life, if you're going to make it through difficult times. He said, you got to have values and you got to have a strategy. You got to have values, you got a strategy, because the values are going to keep you centered, keep you grounded. And your strategy is what's going to keep you on course. I loved it when I played football. Matter of fact, let's go to the military. I loved it. In the military, we had a strategy. We had a way that we had to do things. We had what we call a trigger line, right? We had a trigger line, okay? And you guys don't realize in business you got to have a trigger line, right? Because if you don't have a trigger line, you're going to get what we call commission breath, where you just really want to make some money off somebody. And you're going to go too far, too fast, right? You're going to do it with your marketing sometimes. And if you got a type of business where you got to sit down and engage people, you're going to do it in a conversation sometimes. You're going to cross that line just a little too soon. So when I was in the Army, there was 3 elements that had come, 3 sizes of enemies that came towards you, right? I was on the tank, the M1A. I should have put that picture in. Wow. But I was on the tanks. And what we'd do is we would set up in a defensive position, and the enemy would come across. And the first thing that came across was a CSP, or a CRP, and that was the Company Reconnaissance Patrol. So it was a real small element, just a few vehicles, and they were just really coming on a recon to see if they can get you to shoot too soon, right? And you're in a defensive position, and the tank lets out this big old bang. So if you shoot too soon, guess what? Now the enemy knows where you're at, right? And so with those people, we would come by. Sometimes we wouldn't engage them. We wouldn't call for fire, which was artillery, where they can shoot from is indirect fire. And so now you can call for help, and then they'll shoot at them for you, and they can't see them. But if you do that, you still have given up your position. And then they had the next element was called a FSE, and don't remember none of this, right? Don't remember none of this. And that was a forward security element, right? And so this was a few more vehicles. This was a little bit more. They come at you, Clara. Clara, is that how you say your name? Awesome. Okay, so Clara, they will come at you, and now you went from 3 to 4 vehicles. Now you got about 10 to 15 vehicles coming towards you, right? And so now it makes you really want to, like, you need to engage, like, man, they're coming, we need to shoot, let's shoot. And so my soldiers, I got to be a platoon sergeant at the age of 25. I was really young, and so I got to lead a whole platoon of tanks at that age, but there were some people that were smarter than me there, so they made me look real good. But at any rate, you still don't shoot direct fire. What you do is you call for indirect fire, right? You find a way to get indirect fire. You find a way to engage without trying to make a sale. And this will be more something like your marketing plan. Sometimes anybody ever heard a tripwire in trap? And so now they come in, now all you're really doing is just giving them a little something. And all you really want them to do with the tripwire is pull out their card and spend $1.95 with you or something like that, right? Because now you got them engaged with you as a customer, right? You can't go in there, you can't come out right away and say, hey, here's this $2,000 plaque, you gotta get this, right? It's a way to get the customer engaged with you just a little bit so I can make it make sense to you now. It's, you have that tripwire. And so you still can't throw everything at that, right? You gotta just do something subtle, something simple to engage that customer. It depends on your business model, right? And so after that other element come, we call for fire and they start to bombard them with fire. And a lot of times you neutralize the enemy, that enemy right there. Then you got the big mamma jamma, the advanced guard main body. The advanced guard main body comes and it's a brigade. You're talking about 30 to 100 vehicles coming at you. And now it's time to shoot, right? So now you got them across that tripwire. They've scanned the card. They give you some information. They give you the email address. They say, hey, look, keep me informed, keep me in contact. And now you start to give them a little bit you know their interests. You find out a little bit more information about them. You give them a little bit more information. And then now when it's time for them to drop that big mama on them, now you go ahead and now you present what it is you really want to sell to them. But you engaged them, you created a relationship with them. Now you brought them into what we call the kill sack. You brought them into the kill sack. And now once they're in the kill sack, you can throw everything at them. Why? Because they said it's okay for you to engage them. And so that's how it translates in the world of being a customer. And so we had to learn, and I told you that story, I talked about that because I had to understand, I had to be mentally grounded as a leader to understand that if I shoot too soon, I mess up everything, right? And so there's some times as you grow your company, you're gonna get a couple employees, right? And sometimes if you shoot too soon, you're gonna lose a great employee, a very loyal employee, right? Or if you do something a little too fast, or you make a move that's a little too rash. And so mental toughness is really, you gotta have the psychological edge, right? Now, why should we be mentally tough? What's your name, ma'am? Holding your neck.
Leanne.
Say again?
Leanne.
I'm not gonna try to say it.
Leanne.
Leanne Lee? Leanne Lee. I like that. That's good. Okay. Why are you going in business? Why did you go in business?
I guess it's, I want to use my time more meaningfully.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Ma'am? I don't see your name tag. No, I know who you are.
Ultimately, it's to make money.
To make money. I
Yeah.
like that. That's ultimately. She's waiting. She's like, don't pick me. She's looking at Don't pick me. Why did you go into business? Or why are you going into business?
Well, I do enjoy traveling, so I want to do something that can out the.
And she's ready back there. What's your name? Ma'am?
Megan,
Yes.
I have a technology that I want to bring to market, and I understand the need for mental toughness because people can be mean.
That's true. People can be.
You have to be prepared for that, and you can't cry. At least
That's
I haven't
good.
yet.
Man, I'm gonna ask him. I want to ask you, sir. Yeah, you was one of the presenters.
No, sir.
Then why did you go into business? You were in deep thought. I saw
Build
it.
something from nothing.
Building something from nothing. My man, why'd you go into business?
But it has been my passion, right, when I was a kid. So
Who? Say again.
It has been something as a passion for me when I was living. I have my own business.
Now, who's that person that's eager in your seat? There's about 3 people that want me to ask you. Raise your hand. There's 3 people that want me to ask you. Raise your hand. Or just tell us. You want me to ask you. I see it on your face. I really do.
It's like making money and create a value and all that sharing,
I like
having
it.
some big impact.
That is good. Sharon's ready. See,
I want to be able to help people make a change.
that's good. I like it.
Give people something that
Andy's like, dude, don't pick me. Do not pick me. I do not want to talk to you. Andy, got tired of teaching. That's good stuff. Clara.
I just want to see in senior center.
Oh, you're still young. So you got that. Okay, I like that. You, man? Say again? I know you didn't. That's why I picked you. I knew you didn't want to be picked. I saw it on your face.
I swear.
That's awesome. Good stuff.
Someone's gonna do it, might as well. You can do me.
Oh yeah, you got a pretty cool one. You?
Me?
Mhm.
Because ultimately what I really want to do takes money.
That's good. I'm going to ask everybody at this point. You? Why'd you go into this? It's complicated? That's a relationship status. I like it. That's good. That's good. On Facebook, it's complicated.
I'm in my blood. My father was an entrepreneur, but I also want to make money.
That's awesome. Sarah?
I've always wanted to have my own business, and then I started working for a very large school district, and now I would make some money and have my
Right. Matthew?
I've been in sales my whole life, financial services, freaking snooze alert, tired of being a replicator, ready to be an innovator.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I like that. I can
Just say what he said. Ditto. I like that. Ditto. I got that from the movie Ghost. Anybody saw that movie Ghost?
Yes.
If you haven't saw Ghost, go watch it. I don't know why I'm telling you to watch it. Watch it. Because he said ditto. You?
Wait, no, I already.
Why'd you go into business? You already went?
Yeah.
Well, say it again.
Oh,
She needs money. She needs a bigger dream.
what I really want to do in the community would take money.
I think we wanted to hear that twice. What's mine? No, my man right there. Who just threw his phone down.
Yeah, I was tired of working for other people.
That's good. I'm with that. You, my man?
Wanted to create something useful that didn't exist yet.
Okay.
Creative freedom.
That's awesome.
I want to see people eat my food and then make money.
Eat your food. You, sir.
I want to be a winner. I want
I
to
like
prove that I am able to be the best at something.
That's awesome. You, my brother, it's your turn. Lights on you.
Me?
Yes, sir.
What's the question? Because I was under it.
All right, did y'all hear it? He said, what's the question? I'm just, why'd you go into business?
To find my own success, to find my own path.
That's good.
I wanted more flexibility and more security in life in general.
Awesome. I like that. You, man?
I wanted to create wealth for my family and leave a legacy for my sons.
That's good. She has that big smile. I almost want to take a picture of her. That smile is huge.
I'm a solutions architect for corporates to solve technology-related problems. So I want to use that skill of myself to solve real life problems.
That's solid, guys. Give it up for all these great people in here. Because it's so important for you to remember why you got to have mental toughness, right? And so I do want to challenge you guys to go deeper, though, okay? When it comes to your business, when you think about your business, it's not in the slide, but I'm thinking about this. I want you to really think about your why, your reason why you're doing it, right? I used to be in this industry called network marketing. I built some pretty cool teams, international and in several countries. And we always talked about the why, but it's never talked about like that in business, right? In traditional business. And that's business. It's a business model. All of it's a business model, right? And so knowing why, your why has to be deeper. Money is great. Matter of fact, money will keep me going. But you gotta go deeper, because one day you're gonna get money out the way, then what? Right? Then there has to be something greater. There has to be something deeper. There has to be something driving. And I know you guys got that, but you didn't want to give it to me in here because you thought I wasn't ready for it. And I was ready, right? Did I skip you?
Yeah.
I'm back to you.
So, yeah, I wanted to pursue my passion, and I wanted to go as steep as I could so that I could have an enormous success for me.
That's good.
Doing something I absolutely was, engaged in and passionate about.
That's awesome. That's good stuff. Good. And so what's going to be very, very important for you guys to make it, for you to make it as an entrepreneur, because I'm telling you, sometimes it outright sucks being an entrepreneur. Sometimes it outright sucks. Sometimes you don't get paid for what you do, but you will always get paid for what you do. Is that crazy? Sometimes you won't get paid for what you do, but you always get paid for what you do. You know why? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. Right? How you do anything is how you do everything. And it will always, I'm gonna stop. What is success? I'm serious, I don't want to stay on that long. Success is the progressive, and read my typo, okay? It's the progressive realization of a worthy idea. I got it from Earl Nightingale, he got it from somebody else, somebody named Carlyle, he got it from. But it's the progressive realization of a worthy idea. So look, if we were going to go to Washington, D.C., right? And you leave now, okay? And you head to Washington, D.C. And I leave in 1 hour, heading to Washington, D.C. Who's going to Washington, D.C.? You and I, right? Who's a success? Both of us, right? And so right now, today, guys, you're a success right now. You're already a success. You know why? Because you're getting started, right? You're already a success. And you already, so how you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. So right now, you have to operate like a success. Like a success. You know, I heard somebody say that real funny one day. And so in my head, I said it like that. My friend said, well, he said, like a success. And so I messed it up. But you got to go ahead and right now in your business, guys, you're at the beginning of your business, but you are a success right now. One of my favorite plants to talk about is the Chinese bamboo tree, right? I love to talk about the process of the Chinese bamboo tree because it's pretty cool. Because it stays in the ground for a long time with no results. So some of you guys became entrepreneurs before you became entrepreneurs, right? And I'm going to challenge you with something. So who's still working their job right now? There's a course I used to teach in Washington, D.C. Called Excellent and Excited Employees Make the Best Entrepreneurs. You know why so many businesses fail when people jump into entrepreneurship? You want to know why? Because they mismanage resources at work. And they go into business and now numbers don't lie. People are going to see that you mismanage resources. Great product, great idea, great person, beautiful smile. Failure. Why? Because they did not manage resources. So right now, as an employee right now, we're going to change this agreement that you got with your boss right now. We're going to change it. You're an entrepreneur right now, and you're under contract with this joker. You're contracting him. Why? Because you're going to work full-time to pay your bills and part-time to create a fortune. Right? And so now you're here in this room right now today. You're in this boot camp right now every day. Mondays and Tuesdays. I don't know, for a couple of days I'm like, man, they here tonight too. They got little groups tonight, right? I'm like, what's going on? But listen, right now, you're an entrepreneur. You contracted yourself to your company, right? You contracted yourself to a company so you can fund your dream. So when you work in your company, how you do anything is how you do everything. When you work in your job, how you do anything is how you do everything. Y'all suck. Everything. Wake up. All right, we're going to get up and do some jumping jacks. Keep playing. Keep playing. Listen, guys. Listen, if I'm on a stage of 10,000 people, 1,000, 2,000 people, I'm going to give them the same level of energy I'm giving you guys. And so all I ask you to do so I can get done fast. I ain't like the preacher dude who's going to ask for no amen. I don't want no amen. I'm just trying to drive something in your head that's going to create some success for you, that's going to create your business. It's going to give your business a trajectory to become a multi-millionaire, for you to become a multi-millionaire, not your business. For you. This is for you. I wouldn't have wasted my time coming here. If I didn't think you guys were going into business for real, did you seriously take time out in your evening to be here tonight, to graduate tomorrow, to play? You ain't playing? Yeah, so who's serious about their business? Right? And so, okay, all right. Some of them ain't. Look, I'm gonna do like Kermit the Frog. That's what I'm gonna do. Listen. This is what I want to encourage you. Everything that you do, every action is you're sowing a seed when you do actions. When you take actions, you're sowing a seed. You want people to respond to you, but you're not gonna respond. You're an entrepreneur, and you're gonna go sell something? And somebody's supposed to listen to you? And you gonna listen to nobody? Come on now. Come on, it's real stuff, y'all. It's real life. I don't waste my time, man. Y'all know how much my time is about to cost? You know how much an hour and 15 minutes costs? Minimum? For me to talk. No. For me to speak for an hour and 15 minutes, that's $5,700. For me to speak an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm just challenging you. You're going to get uncomfortable. You might hate me, and I don't care. I am not here to be popular. I'm here to do exactly what I'm supposed to do. As an inspirational speaker, I'm not trying to get you to do anything. There's something in you that has to be unlocked so that you can give the world what you're supposed to give them. There's been an invoice that's been submitted. Somebody's waiting for you to fill that order, to fill that bill, right? And I'm just here to pull it out of you, guys. That's all I'm here for. You can get mad at me. I don't care. I have people get rich. So I don't care. I know. Let's go. You know, because I'm just straightforward and in your face, I ain't gonna even tell y'all that. Let's go. So look, these are Ricky's 6 master keys to mental toughness. That's really important, right? I took Square since we were here at Square, and then I forgot the 1 was on the end, so I had to go ahead and create something for the 1. It's not in the slides, but you can write it down. You got to be open to new experiences. That's what the 1 is. You got to be open to new experiences, right? At the end of this. So look, you got to start. Quitting is not an option, okay? You must work on you. You got to do some affirmation. You got to tell yourself something. You got to look in the mirror sometime and talk to yourself, right? And answer yourself. The people that don't answer themselves, those are the crazy people. I'm serious. Like, why would you ask yourself a question during lunch? Who does that? That's crazy. That's crazy. You got to do some R&D. That's where small businesses fail at. They think what they've done, what they've created is good enough. And they stay with it too long. Right? And it runs its course. And you end up being a Blockbuster or a Circuit City or many other companies we could talk about. Right? You end up being like those companies. And then you got to know what to eliminate. First master key is to start something. Sloppy success beats perfect mediocrity any day. So getting started, getting out there, doing what you need to do. doing what it takes to actually make your business happen. And this brings back what I was talking about with the Chinese bamboo tree. Listen, the Chinese bamboo tree seed stays in the ground for 5 years. This blew my mind when I remembered this piece, that the reason why the Chinese bamboo tree seed can become a bamboo tree is because it's already been one. You guys have already been successful. There was 1 million and some odd little sperms going towards the egg. And you said, I'm the one. You got into your mom's body and said, you've had all these organs all these years, but I'm the most important one in here. Change your diet, change your lifestyle, change what you drink, how you think, what you're listening to, everything, because I'm the one. So you've already been successful. You'll be successful because you already been. You're an entrepreneur because you already did. You'll be great in sales, whatever you got to sell, because all y'all got to sell something. I heard a lot of people talking about money. You got to sell something, right? And so you can be great at it already because you already done it. You sold your mom on changing her whole life for you. Do it again. Do it again. You did that without even knowing. You did it without even knowing. Now you can know. You're grown. You can program yourself. You're not a tree, okay? You can program yourself to do exactly what you need to get things done in your life, okay? And so the Chinese bamboo tree stays in the ground for a long time, right? Here's the beautiful thing about this bamboo tree seed in the ground, and this is why you guys are in this room. If the Chinese bamboo tree seed does not get what it needs from its immediate surroundings, it grows deeper roots, and they spread out until it connects to a source that gives it life. And that's why you're here right now. Because you're like, man, I'm working my business. There's some things I need to do. I need to tighten it up. I saw them here giving you guys some good classes on intellectual property and marketing and all these different things. I watched the classes. I was in my meet. I'm checking out what they had going on over here. I'm like, man, you know what I mean? I said, man, they getting some good stuff over there. So I got to make sure when I go talk to them, I got to tell them, all that stuff matters. All this good stuff. Even though you're tired, even though you didn't want to listen to some of the people, some of them were bored. Some were not that interested, and you got one thing from them. Very necessary. And so that Chinese bamboo tree seed root grows out until it gets exactly what it needs. And then after 5 years of being in the ground, and what is that dirt? That dirt represents all the challenges that you're going to face as you're giving birth to your dream, as you're giving birth to your business, as you're preparing your business to grow, right? And all these elements are in the process of what that bamboo tree still does. It gets planted. It starts. The next thing is this: quitting is not an option. Do you think the bamboo tree seed ever tells itself that I'm never going to grow up? It's just never going to happen for me. It's just so hard. St. Louis is so hard. It's hard to raise money in St. Louis. Old people, it's hard to do people. For the black people, it's hard for black people to do business together. Or for everybody else. You know, I don't know what y'all say to each other. I've never been you, you've never been me. I don't know what you say to each other, right? But at the same time, there's a lot of different things that we experience in the process of being an entrepreneur and growing and putting ourselves in position to win. But you got to say to yourself, quitting is not an option. Quitting is not an option. You didn't start this to stop. You started to finish. So when you feel tired, when you feel like it's not working, don't quit. What was his name? Thomas Edison? How many times did he try? Thousands, 10,000 times, 13,000, different numbers, different books, depending on what book you read, right? Thousands of times. Then there was even a guy named, last name Barnes, who was like broke and poor, but said he wanted to do business with him. And he jumped on a train and went to meet with him in East Orange or whatnot, New Jersey, something like that. Went to meet with him, and then, long story short, there was a product that nobody could sell. Nobody could sell this product. He figured out how to sell it, and he became a partner. Read the book, Think and Grow Rich. Great book. You're an entrepreneur, you got to read that book. Now, after you read Think and Grow Rich, you read Master Key to Riches. But you got to read Think and Grow Rich first, and then read Master Key to Riches. Think and Grow Rich. Most successful people, I've read that book at least 11 times over their lifespan. Right? And if you want to add to that, after you read that book, read Master Keys to Riches. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to open you up. Quitting is not an option, right? The third one, some of these I don't have any pictures for you guys, but it's okay, right? The third one is you. You got to work harder on yourself than you do your business. That's how you're going to have real mental toughness, right? Because you drive yourself crazy if all you do is work on your product, your service, or your business. You drive yourself totally crazy if that's the only thing you do. You got to work on yourself. You got to do what? So when you go and learn a new skill, that's what I call it knowledge. And knowledge fills you, right? When you read books like Think and Grow Rich, Master Keys to Riches, right? It increases your capacity. And so when your capacity is increased, it's either increased in terms of size or processing. And I believe what happens when you grow as a person, when you get some new skills as a person, you increase your ability, your capacity to process information and to pick up what's useful and use it, right? You learn how to value people more, right? You learn how now it's important because you got to value people. Why? Because specialized knowledge. Some of you think that you got to know it all and think you're going to win because of what you know. Steve Jobs wasn't even that good with programming and all that stuff. He's not even that good, but he surrounded himself with people who were. Right? And so there's some things in that Think and Grow Rich book, it talks about specialized knowledge. What I'm doing right now, guess what? We just created a partnership with a technology company that's doing over $100 million right now, already. They're doing cybersecurity, identity access management, and some other things. They're already doing well. And just so happened, it was a really good friend of mine. And just so happened, our platform, Ferguson 1000, it's doing some things that he wanted to be a part of. And so now he gets to be a part of that. And so now a lot of businesses are going to be over about 100 businesses. At least there's 15 businesses right now already benefit. There's going to be about 100 businesses that benefit off their technology that they have already. Specialized knowledge. I don't have it. He has it. And I get to use it and benefit from it. Right? Because it's a win-win situation. I've expanded his business, right? And so since I've expanded it, I get to benefit off of everything that comes from that expansion. So you don't have to know everything, right? Sometimes there's going to be some people around you that's going to know it. And so you got to work on yourself. If you work on yourself, you'll realize that. You'll start to realize that, hey, it's not about me, right? At work, you made it just on you. You've been able to focus on you. If you weren't a supervisor, you've been able to just focus on what you're doing. But guys, listen, if you're going to grow a business, now if you want to just be your own boss, and if you want to just boss yourself around, then that's okay. You can do that too. But if you want to grow a business, you want to grow a business that gives other people life, that helps other people work to pay their bills, right? If you want to grow a business because if you're helping other people win, you're winning, right? And so if you want to do that, you got to work on yourself because you got to develop yourself as a leader, okay? Next thing is affirmations. You got Muhammad Ali up there. He said, I'm the greatest. I said that before I knew I was. Right? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. That was awesome. Even though I saw like 7 lips not move. But it's okay, guys. Y'all can know. It's okay. But he knew it before me, before it even happened. I told myself a long time ago, I made some decisions, right? I went in the wrong type of business. Okay? And in going in that business, there were some people who didn't like it. Now they're legalizing it. But anyway, some people didn't like it. Some people didn't like that I had such a profitable business. I had 16 points of distribution that were actually set up in 3 different demographics, right? And we were servicing a great deal of clients. And we were growing and expanding. And then there was somebody who just thought that they didn't like my business model. They didn't like that it was so successful. And so they had to bother me. And so they bothered me. And so I had to go spend some time by myself and say, you don't want to do what we say do, so go sit down and think about it, right? So when I sat down and I thought about it, I said, you know what I want to master? I want to be a businessman. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take what I've learned here, and I'm going to become a businessman. I'm going to be a successful businessman. One day, I will be on the phone having conversations about $25, $100 million deals. I'll be on the phone. I'll be on the phone setting up big deals. And it's humbling right now. But I remember saying that over and over again. And while I was saying it, I was reading books. While I was saying it, and then here's something, guys, and I'm going to give you some real stuff, right? Now, I don't really go that real that often. But came to St. Louis, moved back to St. Louis, and I came to St. Louis October 2012 just to visit. I went to Sumner High School, and so I went to my high school. We had this big homecoming, like a couple thousand people come out. We got DJs everywhere, people barbecuing everywhere, and this little kid walks up to me. He says, "You're Ricky Wilson from Facebook." I said, "Okay." He said, "Man, my dad changed his life because of you. I'm getting good grades in school because of you." Like, really? And so I started thinking about moving back home. And so, but I was afraid to move back home because I come from the hood, I come from the streets. I don't know nobody in business. In DC, I was a businessman, so I knew people in business. It was easy because of the type of cars I sold. So guess what I did? I went to the Galleria Mall every single day at 8 a.m., sometimes earlier. It was my office. Every business relationship I have right now, I met them in the Galleria Mall at Panera Bread. It's crazy. It's real. And just last Monday, I was on a conference call talking about a $100 million deal. Little old Ricky. All because I said some stuff to myself over and over again. I kept giving myself affirmations. I didn't see it. I saw a 4-figure year, guys. I'm not playing. I'm not saying that to be cute. It's real. I had some very tough times. But in that year, that was my worst year, I met the best people ever. I had all my friends, my closest friends now, all are multimillionaires. They call me when they got big challenges to solve challenges in their companies. They call me, they text me. It's not because I'm, highly educated. I got some school. I went to school. But at any rate, sorry guys. Affirmation, I'm telling you, they work. They work to get up every single morning and say the same thing over and over again. I get up in the morning, I say, I'm on a mission to impact the lives of 21 million people spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially every single morning. Every single morning. I'm on a mission to impact 21 million. What's going on with you? I'm on a mission. People say, hey man, what you up to? Everything. What's going on? Everything. Everything's going on, right? The next one's going to be research and development. Never stop improving your product, your service, and your company. Never, ever, ever stop. In the beginning, I talked about the military, and we had defensive positions. Guess what we had to do every single day? We had to improve that defensive position and make it more camouflage, make it look more real, like we blended into the environment. We had to work on it a little bit more. So every time, every day, you should be looking at what it is that you're doing and saying, man, what is this? How can I get better at this? What can we do? What can we do different to our water? Like, I pay attention to stuff. I see people, websites on stuff that it didn't even matter. I'm never going to go to your website. I'm saying people put their Facebook, but I see companies constantly changing stuff. Oreos got like cinnamon bun Oreos. It's like, man, your business model works already. Why you keep improving? Why you keep bringing all this stuff out? Your business model works. Why? Because R&D is important. My favorite speaker in the whole entire world is Anthony Robbins. You know why? Because this guy has a research and development company that does events and stuff that really changes people's lives. I can't wait to go this year to a date with Destiny. I don't care how much it costs, I'm going. All my friends who've been to a date with Destiny, all their life is tripled or quadrupled. Whether it's in money, because money's just a tangible thing, really. The real deal Holyfield is you becoming a better person. Because you realize this, these guys make all this money, then what they start doing? Being better people, right? Bill Gates, all these guys, Warren Buffett, you go back and look at Andrew Carnegie, go look at Napoleon Hill, go back and look at a lot of the really wealthy people. What do? They got better. Money will accent who you are. It will show people who you are. It will make you more of you. That's what money's gonna do. So if you're in business for money and you got some stuff that need to change, don't change now. Change now. Because when you get that money, you're going to mess up. All right? Never stop improving your product. Is that good? Is this good? Is everything good all right? Am I giving you something? All right, give me a hand. I've never told nobody to give me a hand. The next one is this. The next one is elimination. What has to go? What thought? What limiting belief do I have? What limiting belief do I have? What is it? You know, who is it? Who needs to go? Don't be getting rid of your spouse. Baby, we're getting a divorce because I'm about to be a millionaire. Ain't for real? Is that what we do? I thought we said richer or poorer. We've been poor, now you're about to get rich and you go. Stop playing. But elimination, what do you need to eliminate? Who, what, when, where, and why do you need to eliminate it? What relationships? Who's negative? Who's not adding to your life? Now listen, everybody say this crap about good vibes only. I only want God, good vibes only. Listen, guys, you gotta give out the good vibes. I make angry people happy. Come around me. Hey, keep being mad, you're gonna get happy. That's what I tell them, man. Like, keep being mad. I tip you. Somebody looking for you frowning. Like if you was frowning, Andy, I'd jump across the table and tip you. Like that. And I got crazy with it. Look, one day I was in the mall. I was in Northern Virginia. I was in a grocery store. And so I got this thing I do when I'm out and about. Sometimes I make sure I'm dressed real nice or I'm jumping out of a nice car. And I go up to somebody and say, excuse me. Tell me your name, Kenny. I be like, Kenny, excuse me, sir, can you give me some help? Can you help me out? Well, man, look, I'm gonna get fired from my job. I don't collect 1,000 smiles a day. Right? See, but one day I said this to this guy, and he just walked off like, and didn't say nothing to me. So I chased him around the room. I chased him around the whole store. I'm chasing him. I'm like, chasing him. I'm chasing him, man. I'm chasing him. I catch him. I said, man, you gonna give me my smile, bro? And I thought he was gonna punch me in my face. And this is what he says to me. He breaks down in tears. He said, man, I just lost my job. I had the worst day ever. Thank you so much for making me smile. And I was like, man, what in the world got me to do that? I don't understand. But anyway, they had nothing to do with elimination. Nothing to do with elimination, right? But anyway, what do you want to eliminate? I'm going to help you kind of like picture what you got to eliminate. Here's something that happens that's pretty cool. It's all together, and we're going to learn about the rocket, the takeoff, the rocket launch, right? Rocket launches are pretty cool. A lot of cool stuff coming out the bottom. Everything's going off. All right, take off. Sure. And so I watched it take off like 10 times a day because it was exciting. But me and my friends, we would always teach this, and we always talk about that 70% of the fuel is used in takeoff, right? 70% of the fuel. There's a lot of planning that goes into takeoff, right? And so you got to know what to eliminate. So as you're taking off your business, like everything that's right here cannot go outside this atmosphere. I think there's some things that stop at like 47 kilometers or something. I'm not that smart, right? And so what happens when a rocket takes off? It loses the solid rocket boosters, right? The solid rocket boosters, they come off and they got parachutes on them, right? And those can be recovered and reused. This big old fuel tank, the external fuel tank, it drops off. It may get recovered, but it's never used again. So there's some things that you're going to have to leave right now for this time. For right now, it's going to get you. There's some things it's going to get you off the ground and get you going. And you got to let it go. Just let it go. Don't just let that go. Let that thing fall, because guess what? You're going to have to take off again, because you're going to go to another level. So you're going to have to pick that back up, connect the boosters back to you, and then you're going to use it again. But some of the things that fuel you, what fuels you now is not going to be necessary later, right? And so that tank, like sometimes like talking about money, at some point in time, that's not going to fuel you anymore, right? And so now you got to find another fuel tank. You got to create yourself another fuel tank to take you to the next level. So the elimination. So we see what happens. So the fuel tank, Where it goes, who knows? But you can see that the rocket boosters get recovered and they're used again, right? And so that's the beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Who is this dude? Who is this dude? Started a couple businesses. We've been able to make some decent money in our lifetime. And on the third now, we're launching something pretty dope, pretty cool right now. That's yeah, it's got some good trajectory. I'm a master connector. That's what I call myself. I'm a master connector. Now I realize I don't just connect people just to be connected to people. Now I connect people and I want a piece of the money. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have you make more money. I want to make more money. It's just that simple. And so I do set up those type of relationships. I was just able, actually within the last couple weeks, I was able to help 2 people secure close to about $400,000 through some friends that I know. I always wondered, how am I going to use these multimillionaire friends? I always wondered. I was like, man, when are we going to do something together? And then I was finally able to call them and say, hey, look, this is what I'm working on. If I created this type of scenario, would you want to be a part of it? Guess what they said? Yes, I'd like to be a part of that type of scenario. And so now we actually able to help some people put some money together. I've assisted 5 companies in producing over $1 million in revenue. So some of them were already producing $1 million, some of them weren't. But we've been able to actually help 5 companies. I'm done. This is like the last slide. When I was G.I. Joe, I was inducted in what's called the Audie Murphy Board, which is pretty much like the top 20% of all non-commissioned officers. You know what's crazy is I still remember the NCO creed. I still remember that stuff. Like I can spit it out. No one is more professional. I'm a non-commissioned officer. But at any rate, I still can do that. And then the other reason why I'm up here talking to you is because I build people. That's what I do. I'm a master builder. I build people, man. I started off wanting to be an electrical engineer and some other things. Then I was going to be a chef and all these different things. But when I look at everything that I wanted to be, the key thing was me being able to put things together that work together in a whole different way. Like you can have a spice over here, and you put them 2 in a pot together, you got action. And you can have a component over here and a component over here, and you put them on a breadboard in different places, you got action, right? And so I love those things, and I realize that that's what I do with people. That's what I do with thoughts. You know, how do you engineer your thoughts? What are the thoughts of the winners? How do winners think, right? Look that up. How do winners think? What do they think about? What do they do first thing in the morning? You know, what's going on? Think about those things, right? That's what I've done is mastered the art of building people. And you guys are in this room right now because you want more out of life. So I want you guys to make sure you remember. I'm glad you got the slide, so I don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Remember this. You got to start. So you guys are a success right now. Clap for success. Right? You're a success right now. Quitting's not an option. Continue to work on you. Go through the affirmations. Do some R&D, elimination, and remember, be open to new experiences. Here's this guy. Here's this guy. Anybody got any questions for me? Any questions? No questions. That's pretty cool. No questions are good. Here's my last story. As an entrepreneur, sometimes you're going to be out here working, right? You're going to be out here. And you're going to be out here doing your thing. And you're going to get discouraged. It's going to look like you're going to lose. I remember this story of a man having to finish a project for work, and his son, he told his son to go upstairs and sit down. He said, son, go upstairs and sit down. Here's a book. Read this book. But sit down. And don't bother me. I got to get this work done. Right? And so he's working. And here his son up there making commotion and yelling and moving around. He goes upstairs. Boy, what you doing? Why are you making all that noise? Sit down somewhere. So the little boy sit down. He's back down there working. And now you can hear him clearly saying, if you knew what I know, you wouldn't give up. If you knew what I know, you wouldn't quit. So he walks up there and he catches his son standing up on the chair and on the desk and he's yelling at the book. There's a book on the Cowboys and he's yelling at the book. And he's like, if you knew what I know, you wouldn't give up. If you knew what I know, you would not quit. If you knew what I know, you wouldn't give up. Here's what's happening in this book, right? What's happening in this book is the Indian is getting beat by the Cowboys. And so the boy says, man, this is a little discouraging. So he fast forwards to the end of the book. And in the end of the book, he saw the Indian walking around good, the Native American walking around. And the cowboys, they all friends, and they walking around. So we go back to that part in the book where it's all bad, where it's all hard, where it's not clear, where you can't see where it looks like he'll win, and he's not going to win. And he says, if you knew what I know, you won't give up. You won't quit. If you knew what I know, you won't give up. You wouldn't quit.